Well, welcome back. My name is Jeremy Vanderloop. I'm here with Olivia. We're having a great podcast. It's the Let's Get Coffee podcast here at Crest. Olivia, let's jump right in. Tell us about yourself. Where are you from? Your favorite food, favorite color? No, just whatever you tell us about yourself. Where are you from? What's up?
Sure. So my name is Olivia Chapman. I'm originally from Syracuse, New York, so upstate New York. People will say it's like Canada, but actually Canada's probably better than New York at this point. And how long have I been a member here? Just since the beginning of the year, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
I thought it was longer than that.
Feels like forever. No.
You know, it probably was the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you. And I know you asked me my favorite food, but
no, you can tell
pizza.
me. Pizza?
I was at a networking event last night, and you had to do your childhood celebrity crush.
Oh, who was that?
This is embarrassing. I can't believe I'm saying it again, but I picked one of the Hanson brothers.
Really? Like with the long hair?
Yeah, I think it was like Taylor.
I don't know the names.
It's probably for the best.
Probably is. Yeah. I was not into them when we were kids.
Yeah.
I do remember their song though.
Bop, yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
Isn't that crazy? It's a classic now.
I know, but some people don't know about it, so I don't think it got the fame it deserved.
Yeah, probably didn't. Those guys are actually pretty talented.
Yeah, I think they still perform.
I have no clue. They probably do. I'd probably go watch them now.
Maybe I'm more of a fan than
Maybe. That's also so we've never had that question before. That was your childhood crush. Yeah. That's awesome. Why? What about that?
Oh, well, I think there was a little bit of competition between my sister and I. Like, we always fought over which guy we had a crush on and like which guy we could like. And I think so it was a little bit of competition, and gosh, I don't know. I just like had their whole album. I really got into the lyrics of their songs, which were like kind of sappy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, my daughter's really into like Kids Bop and things like that. Yeah. And I'm just like, I've been saying no lately. Can we listen to Kids Bop?
Well, at least those are like good pop songs. I mean, I still laugh when I hear some of the like Lil Wayne or Nicki Minaj on the Kids Bop.
Some of the content though, I go, oh, they changed that word, but the message is still there.
Questionable.
And then, they say, hey, can you play this song? It's happened once. Our kids, can you, to like the HomePod thing or whatever, the house, play this, and they play the real song. Yeah. And you catch the word and you go, what the heck are you guys listening to?
Yeah, I'm always yelling, get the version without the E, get the version without the E.
Don't listen to that part.
Like, we're not going to say the bad words. I'm like,
you're still hearing them though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. They're hearing them anyway if they live with me.
Yeah, well.
I mean.
Our kids have repeated some things. You say something to a dog for doing something, like one time. All they do is hear it one time.
Yeah.
And they say it at the most inappropriate times.
Oh, yeah.
In front of all sorts of people. And you go,
embarrassed.
I'm sorry they've only heard that one time. This is what happened.
Yeah, that's me lying.
Well, we're moving on. No, it's kids are sponges, right? They take the good, the bad, and everything in between.
Yeah, they have a very great way of having selective hearing, selective asking for what they need. I mean, the way that I look at it is like for me, I'm like, oh, I was exactly like this, and now I understand why my parents got frustrated, truthfully. Yeah. Like, it's interesting, and it's for me I think my greatest growth edge as a human has been in parenting.
Oh, hands down.
I know some people are like, oh, the second my baby was born, I was like in love. I was a natural mother. I was like, what is that? I am confused. I don't know. Like, growing up in a family with a lot of children, being the caretaker for my siblings, it still was very different having
your own
children. I was like, what am I supposed to do?
They don't give you a handbook.
No,
they don't.
And I didn't feel that like instant, natural instinct or. It took me a while, and I often say, I'm like, I love my kids more and more every day now that I actually like know them, and I feel like having a baby. I was like, there's a stranger in my house, and so it's been like one of the greatest lessons and continued learnings of my life.
Yeah, I'm so glad. That's. I mean, kids they bring out the desire in your heart to do better in life.
Yeah,
right.
And they're such reflections of ourselves too, and I think that's can be a very triggering experience
for sure.
people. But also, I've learned to like fall in love with those moments when it like also helps me have a deeper understanding of my own parents.
Yeah.
And the dynamics that,
some gratitude and some anger that comes up with it, right? Yeah. Oh man, I can't. I wish they would have done this differently, right? Oh man. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna try to learn.
Trying to break the generational curses and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like our generations kind of have like an awakening in their hearts and minds, right? Because what is the statistic? We're like second generation fatherless is what they're calling it. Like it's like a second generation fatherless generation, like where like the parents split, or even it kind of goes all the way back into like the 50s. We've had conversations that it goes all the way back to like PTSD from World War II, being misdiagnosed and not knowing it. So the dads get back in, but their brains are shut down in a certain part, and all they do is go to work. And they built this just major revolution, but their children were abandoned because they provided all this money, but none of the love and acceptance and mentorship, because the men were they've seen one of the worst wars in history and had all their peers, just horrifically get massacred in front of them, and just had seen such a heinous. And so there's a lot of theory that goes that was a big pivoting point. One, there's so many different items, but it does kind of this pendulum thing of society moves in such long gaps, right? 100-year gaps, 80-year gaps. And so then you kind of can track even like the 60s and the 70s, everything, it just kind of like compound interest almost. And then a lot of people are saying like our generation, the 30-somethings, are now hitting a reset, going, hold on, I got to have a little bit more EQ. I got to have this, I got to have that. And what do you think of that? I mean, that's a theory that a lot of people have.
Well, I have a lot to say on like the role of men and women in society.
Let's talk about
thoughts about stuff like that. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that you're saying is like, I have such a love-hate relationship with the internet and social media.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I love so much about it is like, we're in the age of information, and you literally don't just get to be uninformed anymore. It's actually just a stupid choice to not educate yourself. Whether it's emotional intelligence or world news or, support that you may need in any category. Like, you can Google how to do anything. So there's really no excuse for, not evolving as a human. Obviously, there's, things that people go through that may slow them down or speed them up. But I love the internet or social media because there's so much inspiration and information around how to be more self-aware. Like, our age group, like I was saying, we don't really, there's no excuse. There's just no excuse.
And I think a lot of it, when you get into a position where there's no excuse, then accountability comes in play.
Yeah.
Right?
When you love to avoid that.
Yeah, we all love to avoid accountability in different parts of our lives. Don't tell me about that. I want to eat the cookie. Don't tell me I shouldn't. It's like, oh, well, now you're accountable. You knew. And that's the thing about knowledge. Is this is a great subject. You have information and you take it in education, but knowledge is having, and then understanding is knowing how to use it.
Yeah, application.
People don't have understanding; they have a ton of knowledge, and they get so all this but the accountability of actual execution and understanding, and then wisdom is knowing when to use it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It stops with it. So what do you think of?
Well, it's interesting because. So I am the founder of a coach training company. So we certify life coaches, business coaches. People specialize.
You're a boss woman entrepreneur. That's what we're going to say. It's just a monster boss woman entrepreneur.
I run the world of coaching for female entrepreneurs.
Did you say that again?
I run the coaching world for female entrepreneurs. So if you want to be a coach, I'm your person.
You have the education for a woman to be a coach.
Yes.
Specifically targeting female entrepreneurs, coaching females.
We are the first fully internationally accredited, fully virtual, all-women coach training program in the world.
And my ADD is going to kick in. How hard was it to actually, what hoops did you have to fight through and climb through and claw through to even get that?
Oh, my entrepreneurial path has been a breeze. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no.
I'm just kidding.
What? Yeah, we know enough that is not a true statement.
Well, if we run it back a little bit, I was a teacher for years. So I taught in DC public schools, and that's where I met Katie, who became my business partner. And she had this idea for IGC. It was her company. And we started just, having coaching clients and women wanting to talk about personal development. And then everybody wanted to get trained as a coach, which then that's when Katie brought me on as a co-founder to help write the curriculum. And, my master's and all of my formal education is in education.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So it was kind of like this, no way I could have planned it pathway. I don't remember what your question was. Like,
how hard, what type of hurdles and hoops and just like mountains did you have to fight for to actually achieve such a great, to be able to say like that statement?
Well, I mean, I think it was a little bit of divine timing. Like we did get into the coaching industry when it was, social media was really taking off with like entrepreneurships and influencers or entrepreneurship and
Shark Tank was getting ready. It was taking off. All that was the awareness.
We had this pivotal moment in 2016 where we were starting to really, gain some attention in the coaching industry. We were starting to really increase our student body. And I was like, we have to either align with the ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation, the accrediting body, or not. And if we're not going to, we have to have a reason to, because that's like the big outlier in the coaching industry. Like there's a lot of people that just call themselves coaches, and can be okay. Obviously, we've also seen some very unethical things in the spiritual or personal development industry, but we were kind of at this breaking point where like we either need to go through the ICF and do everything legit, everything by the book, everything ethical, or not. And I was like, we're going this way because it really, there wasn't any company like ours that had an accreditation at the time. A lot of coaching was very institutional. It was very executive, corporate leadership coaching, teaching the coaching skills, but none of them had any business development. And so what we were finding was women, myself included, were graduating from these other programs, learning how to coach effectively, but not having a clue how to get a client or how to run, any type of marketing or business. So that's also like, I'll talk to people now who are interested in training and they're like, well, what makes you different? I'm like, if you don't want to start a coaching business, we're not the right company for you. If you do want to actually have your own business, this is the only company that's going to give you this level of business and marketing training along with your legit credential.
So you are coaching coaches.
Well, we're training coaches. Yeah. So we give them the actual credential or certification.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's just like a school teacher, but in a very different way.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are your top 3 things you just absolutely love about it?
I love sales. I'm really good at them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I really love sales.
Let's pause for a second. What are the key elements of sales to you?
Oh, well, I mean, the first one is just the belief that you have the only solution to their problem and the best solution to the person's problem. And 100,000% believing that. I would say when I submitted my first sales call to my business coach in 2015, I had hired her to help me because I sucked at sales. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And she's like, you don't even sound like you care. Right. And that's what I have talked to a lot of people. It's very energetic. You have to be 100,000% sure that you have the best product.
Yeah.
You would pay the price tag you have on it and you have no issue saying it out loud. So that would be number one. And then I also think coaches have such a leg up when it comes to sales, because if you're talking about, finding the objection or closing, it's all coaching. It's all getting to the bottom of their why, making sure you have the, their real problem, what that is and how your, product can be the solution. All we do as coaches, if you're a great coach, 90% of your job is asking questions, asking the right questions that move the client forward.
Yeah.
And it's very similar in sales.
So key components in sales.
Yeah.
Solutions. We're going to agree with this.
Yep.
Questions.
Yep.
What else is there?
I mean, all the fact finding, I guess that's questions. And also, do you know the number one reason women don't sell?
Why?
They don't ask for the sale. They don't ask for the close.
They don't actually close. Are you ready to do this?
Yes. They say, okay, let me know what you think. Get back to me eventually.
They don't say, are you ready to do this?
Right.
Yeah. Did you know I'm shooting a course right now?
No.
Yeah. We stumbled upon it a couple weeks ago when we had the emergency where you had to go pick up your... super cool, right? So we're both parents. We're both entrepreneur parents. Yeah. And we were going to shoot this a couple weeks ago, and you had a sick kid in the school. It's like, no, yet. And so Ryan's like, what are we going to do? Is let's go shoot. And we had a content day. We shot for 3 hours.
Wow.
and just a phenomenal time. Me and Ryan just hanging out.
It worked out, except for me, who was home with the sick kid that
I'm
day.
so sorry. I know. I just had one of those experiences. We were talking like here, you know, I had to rush out to go assist my wife with a child who needed to have blood work done, and we were nervous, and all that stuff was going to happen. And your kids are number one, though. That's it. You know, that's it. Number one, and you were working, right, so that you have the freedom to say, no job, you're going to wait. I'm going to go deal with something that's higher.
Yeah, exactly. I move the day around and keep it moving.
Boom, right? Yeah. That's it. And so many people forget that that's what you're doing. That you're not literally living to work. You're working to live. And sooner or later, your company and your job should just work without you. You should pay you to not do anything and take that time off.
I'm like, what do you guys want me to do?
You go,
like, does anyone need help today? Like, go away.
Soul searching. Let's see. Is my identity in this company? That's like the whole idea. My mind never shuts off and be like, maybe I should have some more pondering moments and scheduling high thoughts. So
yes, that's true. Thinking is on my calendar.
I do that in the morning as well. I hope
we got sidetracked.
We will jump in that. So the most beautiful things come about on accident.
Yeah, organically.
They're just organic. So there's this thing, and we're like, hey, we've already got this on our calendar. Let's just go over to a large hall. We got a really cool lighting set up. It's a really cool space. Let's just shoot a bunch of videos. And it's like, what you need me to talk? I'll talk. I have no problem talking. And so, which me and my wife just shot our first video for the CLRs, the leadership rounds that you were part of the first beta.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be my wife's baby. She's going to kind of help maintain that.
That'll be fun.
I'll still lead them, but she's going to like promote them and make sure they're attended. And I'm really excited to have her. She's more involved in Crest now.
Okay, cool.
Monday through Thursday. She's supposed to be like 9 to 12. Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Just
more female energy, you know.
She's so talented and engaged and just she just makes you feel comfortable in your own skin. It's the best way to describe her. Yeah. And so I'm excited to have her more involved with people here and just just a big part of our mission, is supporting and serving entrepreneurs and leaders. So, but we're there, and Ryan, I asked you something, right? It was I said, what do you want me to talk about? I said, what? I was like, I don't know. What are we good at? We shot all these videos.
What are we good at?
And he had said something, and so I actually I was like, all right, I can talk about this. I was talking about how to start a company. How to have all your infrastructure, your systems, your processes, everything I've developed over the last 15 years of just trial and error. Yeah. And I talked for 50 minutes on that subject.
Wow.
Back to back to back to back. And then I was finished. I thought, I think we just did something really special here. And the more, because it's like I'm being inspired by all the entrepreneurs and leaders I'm connecting with just in this short period of time, and realizing like, I have to share the experience as a founder for 15 years of founding things and trying things, and I couldn't find good content that could help me.
Yeah.
Actually, like you said, I've had to translate everything that was like these executive scaling books and all this stuff down into forming a company how to scale. But I said something, which is what in that thing, and it's become like almost like a mantra, like a core of what I say now, because it wraps into what we're talking about, sales and how you love sales. And so I kind of coined this phrase in there, and I actually said it 3 times because it was so profound to me. People don't buy products and services. They buy solutions.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And that's it, right?
Yeah.
But I'd never heard anyone say that before, and it's like, and it changed my mind to be like, dude, I have to simply sell and support. And I'm not even selling the solution. I'm serving them, and we're pain doctors.
Yeah.
Right? As entrepreneurs, and you're creating solutions, and then people reward you with money.
Yeah.
So we're shooting a course on that.
It's great. And I think a lot of people need it. And I think a lot of people have a lot of ideas, but if they can't articulate how their product or their service solves a problem, now, does a Chanel bag solve my problems? No. So there is the variable
sure
of
it does.
Loving something, right?
It solves your problems.
Well, maybe, but
what's the sole purpose of the bag?
I think the other reason I think people buy is if they just are absolutely in love with something, like in love with a brand or in love with a product. Like I could live my whole life without a Chanel bag.
So I actually play this game with my kids all the time too. And this is kind of where this came from is, hey, where does money come from? I said, well, we create solutions for problems. And so we'll actually drive down the road and say, hey, what problem is that company solving?
Oh, that's good.
Right. And so like my 6-year-old will be like, oh, this and that. And like we talked about tires today.
You should do another course on parenting, maybe.
We're actually doing our next Crest chat on family, parenting and relationships.
Oh, okay.
We're getting ready to do it for the next 3 months. It's going to be on parenting, and we got some guests that we're going to line up that are just phenomenal.
Okay. If you need a single parenting expert, I'm your person.
Let's do it. We'll for sure have you on one of the Crest chats for that.
Great.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, it's there's so many variables and challenges.
Yeah.
Rambling, but your bag absolutely solves solutions.
Okay, so say more about that.
All right, so number one, right? I would say that bag holds things, so it keeps your hands free.
Oh yeah.
Right, so you're in a pain point. So you're going to buy something to buy freedom with your hands.
Sure.
And security for valuables.
Sure.
Right, but then there's also a thing that someone's acquiring that bag to have an emotional affirmation, either healthy or unhealthy, right? Mm-hmm. To say, I earned this because I did this and my money's not going to reward me. I'm going to reward myself with something that I enjoy.
Right.
Or I really want someone to look and think highly of me, so I'm going to buy this and have more money as my bag than more money that's in my bag, right?
Yeah.
So one's healthy, one's unhealthy.
Yeah.
But they still serve the pain point of needing a level of confirmation and affirmation.
Yeah,
for that brand. So 2 pain points.
And there is value. Like I always think of, I think it's like Deion Sanders who says like, look good, feel good, do good, do good, make more money or something. Like that's his whole thing. I'm misquoting him, but I do think that there's value in like feeling really good about yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you're right. It does solve a problem.
Well, because there's something, because I collect, I'm a collector.
Yeah.
You know, every year I buy a very nice timepiece.
A
watch, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to be
fancy.
No, it's just
talk to us like we're normal.
They're nice watches. I like nice watches.
Okay, that's a man thing. Yeah,
it is a man thing, but I also have a rule to it, and I write letters every year to my kids about what happened that year, and they're monuments that when I'm gone, my grandkids can know what I did at 33. And what the challenges were, and it basically, it's like there's a very small amount of my revenue can go towards a watch.
Yeah.
So I use it as a reward system. So I actually set my milestones and my plateaus. I have forced plateaus because I could overdrive as an entrepreneur.
Right.
So I had to set a system in place of saying, you know what, I'm going to pause and I'm going to ponder and I'm going to be grateful for this year. And my wife actually started the tradition my first year in real estate. Okay. Because she knew me.
So where did the letters go?
The letters stay in my journal, and so I have a full journal, and the letters go in a box, and they are all tied to the
handwritten.
Handwritten letters. That's
nice.
Yeah,
I handwrite everything.
I talk about that with entrepreneurs. Like, you got to stop and enjoy the journey and tie it to something that's meaningful. Or materialism will eat you alive, and money will name itself and will take on wings and fly. And
yeah, I think everybody has a phase when they first start making real money where they're just like buying a lot.
They do.
I mean, I did it, and then I was like, literally didn't last very long because I was like, none of this is gratifying at all. Mm-hmm. I have sold most of all of the designer items that I've bought, and now my goal is to move to a farm and get some chickens.
Yes.
And eventually get rich enough where I never need to use social media again.
That's awesome. So let's talk about that. We're just really, this is very much my mind in these things, and they just run. So why would you never want to use social media again?
Well, I think it goes back to the whole love-hate thing that we were talking about at the beginning, where it's there's so much valuable information. And it is a means of connection. It's definitely a great marketing tool and content sharing tool and all of that. But I think it can also be very destructive. And it's overstated that it's comparison comes up or, just feeling bad about yourself or feeling behind in life. And I actually have created a healthy relationship to social media where I don't feel these things anymore, but I start to feel like, I'm participating in this thing that makes other people feel bad.
Yeah.
Or, that makes other people question their choices or themselves and I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it for my kids. And it feels like a lot of pressure sometimes to keep up with everything.
It's designed that way.
Yeah.
It's literally designed to steal your dopamine.
Right.
It's designed to make you feel that way and to be addicted to it.
And I also think it can be destructive. Like, I think that there's a lot of violent imagery. There's a lot of pornographic imagery. It opens a lot of pathways for people to like cheat or.
Yeah, there's a lot of objectification.
And I mean, I have been cheated on, like, that's why I'm a single mother now. And so I know it's some of my own stuff and I'm very sensitive to it. It's okay.
It shapes you.
I'm just like, God, stop looking at naked girls on the internet and go like create something, write a book, take a walk. Like, it just to me seems like such an energetic drain if you're not super self-aware and conscious of its purpose. And to me, if I didn't have a business, it would have no purpose in my life.
Yeah, I'm actually not on social media anymore.
Oh,
at all. For you.
Well, your company is, but that's probably managed.
Ryan, how are things going? Literally, like
I know somebody's taking my picture here, so it's unless you're keeping it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's literally like, and my phone actually only has permission to notify me 2 times a day.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I keep all my notifications off mostly, but
yeah, so it has to notify. This is in that course I'm gonna because it's things that make me for my brain. I have to have high focus times and all that stuff And so it's definitely, you're right on the money. There's so many studies. Like I have a little girl and 3 little boys. My daughter's 9, and it's we grew up with technology. Right? We remember when things were invented. We remember when they came out. We remember when the iPhones came out. When all that stuff came. The iPod came out. Right? We remember, and it was so amazing. Yeah. We also remember when all the games came out and all that. And we grew up with technology, but we also probably still went outside and played and did all these different things. And these children, our kids, are growing up in it. Yeah. And it's growing at such a rapid pace that it's extremely dangerous for their developmental process. Yeah. And that's like suicide rates are through the roof. Anxiety's through the roof. We're talking adolescents. Yeah. I mean, through the roof. It's awful. Awful. Yeah. And then you can, with technology, and again, my wife is very intentional. I'm very intentional with my daughter. She knows that we love her, that she is beautiful, that she's designed in such an amazing way to fit in her image. And she is her own image of beauty, right? We're constantly encouraging her in that way. She's 9. She's not even in the hard stages, But it's like...
Yeah, I feel like that's getting hard.
It's getting hard. Oh, my gosh. It's heartbreaking because so many little girls don't have this affirmation, in their house right now. So they're learning it.
And I think it's girls and boys, to be honest.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah. Girls, you're right. Girls, and they're seeing these images that have been so doctored. Yeah. Right? And they're not even real images anymore. Have you seen the ones where they put the models next to each other and they're trying to show self-awareness now? And they don't even look like the same people, but it's the exact same people?
The editing and the face tuning.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We understand, and it's hard for us to even, our minds still go, oh, I want to look that way. I want to look that way. Yeah. The person doesn't look that way. Talk about a 12-year-old, right?
Yeah, it's got to just mess with your brain.
Oh, for sure it does.
It messes with my adult brain.
Yeah. Our attention spans are shrinking at such rapid paces, too.
Did you know, like, everyone has ADD now or ADHD? I mean, I feel like I don't go somewhere without someone telling me that they have it now. I'm like, I probably do if I went to the doctor. Like,
I definitely do.
Right.
But I've had this since I was a kid.
Yeah. And I just, like, it's very hard because it's so normalized. Like I was visiting a friend a couple weeks ago. It was 3 teenagers, and her daughter's like texting her from school, and I'm like, they can have phones, and she's like, so I was just talking to her daughter after, and I said, wait, you're just like allowed to be openly texting in your high school class? And she's like, yeah, the teachers like don't care as long as you're not texting while they're teaching. And I'm like, whoa, like you can. I just didn't know it was like.
It's a great social experiment. You see what happens. Well, and this is honestly why like this stuff's so important. Like one of the main reasons why we're even sitting in an environment like this is because I realize the dangers of if we don't start as leaders and parents, first and foremost, we're leaders in the marketplace, but you're first a leader in the home. Yeah. And we have to be cognizant. That's why like I want to double down on that. Oh, you want to get on a farm and
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I really can't wait. I do feel that coming.
Yeah. And it's trying to be the intentionality of making the farm today. Yeah. Through like really levels of systemized self-control, right? Like dictating when you get on X or when you do these type of things. You know,
mentioning like the creation of this space, but it is like also remedied through like more community-based living. Like I'm very fortunate in that my next door neighbor and I have become like best friends. She has 2 daughters. I have 2 sons. We like have a little bit of a village vibe with our households.
Yeah.
And it's like the more we have access to that, like going outside, letting our kids play freely, like borrowing, sugar from the neighbor or whatever. It's like, it's more having these community spaces and even, a local farmer's market, because I'm afraid to eat all the food in the world now too.
Yeah.
But I think we have to get back to things like that, because what I've also noticed with my kids is like technology is so readily available. It's here, take this while we're out to eat. Here, even teachers giving the kids, and I will never hate on a teacher for doing what she needs to do to manage a classroom these days, but I find that they would rather be outside. They would rather be, away from technology.
You just got to give them the tools to do it.
Yeah.
When we built when we were in our current house that we just built, we finished it last summer.
Yeah.
I made the decision that I was not going to put a TV in the house.
Oh.
I didn't do it. And there's still not a TV in my living room.
Okay.
I put a TV outside, several actually, outside.
Okay.
So I have one above our outdoor kitchen. I have, I have a balcony off my master. I have one there. And
what do you watch outside? Like shows or
movie? We'll do a movie night or something like that, right? And so it's hardly ever on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There was a deal on Amazon, like as always, and I bought a TV, an Amazon Fire TV for like nothing.
Yeah.
It's almost like they pay you for those, right? And I put it in the playroom. And you know what happened when we first moved into the house? They were detoxing. We had my wife's iMac upstairs, and they were watching. I moved it. I made it uncomfortable to watch, changed the password. And the first thing they did on Saturday morning after I did that, ran outside and jumped on the playground and didn't come in for the entire day.
Yeah.
And you could literally see this like freedom of like just the weight of like technology come off of them. They were having fun and being kids, and
they're nicer to each other, I've noticed too.
They can be.
I mean, I prefer like a little fist fight between the boys versus like a fight over a Roblox character. Get outside and duke it out. Like if you
our boys fight, man. They fight.
And I have 3 brothers, so it doesn't really faze me. Some people be like, "Oh my God, your sons." I'm like, they're good. They'll be good in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I'm such a component of like outdoors, being outside. We have an outdoor ping pong table. We have the outdoor TV. We have a fire pit.
I'll be sending my kids over.
Come on, come on, bring it. We have a huge backyard. It's awesome. We have a great playground and bike rides.
Even if you just take away the technology, I have found that like even the indoor activities, I'm like, I didn't even know we had that game or that board game or that drawing thing, and like I forget because I don't buy anymore. Once you have an iPad, I really don't buy too many more, but. I'm like, wow, they have so many ideas.
Yeah, and there is truth to this. I tell people all the time, like, one of your best things to do is just don't put a TV in your house, because that cheap TV broke very quickly, by the way.
Yeah.
Like 4 weeks ago, and I told my wife that we're not replacing that thing. And we have it.
Yeah.
And you know what? They haven't missed it.
Yeah.
They don't miss it.
We never really turn the TV on. They're more like want to play their games, which I have to then take away.
Or YouTube a lot in our house. YouTube. And so I think that's probably like the next thing. I've already warned my wife. So we're changing the password on that computer, because the older ones sit on the computer and watch YouTube videos all the time. Yeah. And so we have to like actually get onto them now. But technology and kids.
At what they're watching, and I will tell you, I took my older son to the dentist. He's 7. I took him last week. And I'm thinking we're just going for a regular dentist visit, whatever. She's like, any issues with the kid's teeth? I said, no. Probably a little overdue for this visit, but no, nothing. And then my older son said, well, actually around 12:50 p.m. yesterday, I started getting some pain in my bicuspid. I was like, you're what?
That's funny.
I said, where did you learn that? He said, well, my tooth hurt. So I looked for a YouTube video, and that showed me what all the teeth were in your mouth were called. I'm like, so there's like,
it's beautiful. There's opportunity.
It's like if you use it to like gain the right information, great. If you use it to feel bad about yourself, to compare yourself to others, to get negative ideas, to distract yourself from doing any type of actual work on yourself or in the world, toss it out.
Well, it's a tool for like anything else, right? Yes. So the age-old thing. What's the difference between a knife in the hand of an assassin versus the hand of a surgeon. Have you heard that before?
No, I haven't, but it makes sense.
What's the difference?
Well, an assassin's going to kill you. A surgeon's going to save your life.
It's the intention.
Yeah.
What they intend to do with the tool, right?
Yeah.
You can't. Well, same thing with technology.
Ugh, yeah.
You know, when you think of it, you go,
well, everything is like good versus evil.
Yes, it is. You're absolutely right.
We just broke it down. We're done.
We're done.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, they have this battle of ethics and morals and
if
serving
unsure,
humanity.
You can come to church with me or you.
Say what?
I said if they're unsure good versus evil, just come to church. It'll be fine.
Yeah. And so this is such a fantastic and fun decision. And how do you dance and how do you run this amazing company and help all these women learn? And you know, it's obviously you've gone through some hardship, you've had some pain, which very sorry that's happened. You work through it, and it just makes your story just becomes so much more beautiful as you begin to see that just get redeemed over time. You know,
Yeah.
and that would be my encouragement. Is like, you know, there's going to be this amazing opportunity as you don't let that define you.
Yeah.
You know, and you just keep pushing and you heal through it. But you're put into a situation now that obviously you didn't sign up for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's being a single mom entrepreneur.
Yeah.
If you could give any mom or woman an encouragement that has now been really thrust into an environment that they never anticipated they'd be in,
Yeah.
what top 2 or 3 things would you say to them right now to encourage them?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have always just, and maybe this came from how my grandmother was or whatever, but I've always believed in women having their own money. And the more money women have, or the more money in the hands of women who know what to do with it, I believe that it's going to make the world a better place overall. I feel like women just know how to take care on such a deep level. No offense, men, love men, but it's just different.
Yeah.
So I've always, in many ways, I feel like becoming a single mom, and in the way that it happened and when it happened. So it happened the year I got a book deal. It happened the year our company hit $1 million. It happened when I was the primary breadwinner. Like, I was moved out of that house within a week. It was very like, so I think about it in some ways as like this was always meant to happen. And I hate that because I'm not saying it was my fault, but I'm saying I almost needed to be a testimony for so many women who feel like they are stuck in a relationship that they don't want to be in, or in a job that they don't want to be in because they don't have the financial resources to get themselves out. And I feel like everything in my life has come back to giving women the resources to have their own income stream, not so they can leave a man or whatever, but so they have that foundation for themselves, so that they are not stuck in a bad job or in a bad relationship or in an abusive situation or in a city that they don't like. Like, it can be that simple. So
I'd love to dialogue with that. I actually encourage my wife a lot, and we have a great marriage. I love my wife. She's my best friend.
Yeah.
I joke with her probably too much. You prank her, you're just like, yeah. But she's awesome, and you know she has a real estate license.
Yeah.
And she is, you know, I don't want to do this. Like, anytime it starts getting really hard, she's like, I don't want to do this. I just want to be a mom. I just want to be a mom. I want to be a mom. And my response to her as her husband is, no. You can't give this up, even if you're just working for my company and selling my product.
Yeah.
I'm still paying you a commission. You're still getting something. And my whole reasoning to her is like, I want you to have this ability. If something happens to me, God forbid, and I die, I want you to still have a position that you know how to take care of yourself. You know how to consider an asset and buy it. You know how to do these different things, because our kids are going to get old.
Yeah.
They're going to get out of the house, and your identity is not found in what you do. But I want you to have the freedom, because you have so much more. And this is what I tell her: you have so much more to offer that, you know, you just got to share it with the world. You got to share. You know, and she's a bomb house. I mean, she just closed a deal, her first deal after having the baby in 2 years, and it was a house on Bayshore. You know, and just like crushed it.
Well, it's the opportunity, though. That's like the whole thing about it. It's like you want to be set up. You don't know what to. I'm sure that, God forbid, you die.
I mean, there's insurances and playing things like that, but you still.
But like, you just never know what's going to happen. I always believe that women have to have some type of plan. not only for money, but for like purpose.
Absolutely.
And I do feel like that for coaching is so obvious because every single woman who comes, I'm always the friend that everyone goes to for advice. I've always been the one helping other people. So it's like very obvious, and you can do a lot with coaching. You can take a couple clients a month and make a couple $1,000s, or you can scale it to multi 6 figures, 7 figures, which we've had students do. But it's just a way, it's a skill, it's a transferable skill that you can turn on and off if you want to, keep small or grow big. And I feel like my whole story at my point, and I'm getting away from the tips for the single moms,
no,
but is like always make sure that you have something for yourself, like something that you love doing and that makes you money, even if you don't want it to make you money right now. But you know, having that. And then, I mean, the other thing is, it's very cliche to say, but it's all about mindset. Like,
cliches are there for a reason, though.
It really is. Like, I remember people being like, how are you okay after? And I'm like, well, first of all, a woman's intuition always knows when something's going on. So having the physical proof, I was like, thank you, goodbye. I can finally make a decision and move forward, right? So that was a little bit clearing for me. And if you know what I'm talking about, drop an emoji or something. But like when you know, you know. And so when that happened, but I was like, I could be like a victim of my circumstances. I was a victim of something, right? Lying, whatever. But I just never wanted to identify like that because it didn't do anything for me. So it allowed me to avoid responsibility. It allowed me to avoid taking action. So I've always been, here's the thing. Complaining is the lowest form of responsibility. I also think worrying is.
I love that. Complaining is the lowest form of responsibility.
That's the ultimate. You're going to sit around and complain. That means you're a victim of your own circumstances. You're not taking any accountability. You're not taking any, creative action towards getting out of it. So I would always think to myself, I could sit here and complain. I got left. I got cheated on. I'm stuck with all the bills. Or I could do something about it. And, I still got mad sometimes.
Of course.
I still would want to freak out, but it didn't get me anywhere. And so I just chose to, use all of that energy that I could have spent complaining and start creating. And like I said, it was very fast growth after that.
That's awesome.
And I think that's possible for anyone. But like anytime you worry and anytime you complain, you're just solidifying the bullshit in your life.
And that's principle, whether you're a woman or man or anybody.
Yeah, this is life.
That's just principle. Yeah.
Right.
And the first one's actually life advice too.
Yeah.
These are principles,
True.
right? That's just principles. Your identity should not be found in your job, your career, your kids, or anything. It's the entirety of your life.
Yes.
And they all serve a purpose for your purpose.
Yes. And the last thing I want to say to any woman and any person, if you are in a group of people or a community or relationships where you are constantly being talked out of your dreams, get out. I think that's the most destructive thing. Even going through a recent breakup with a guy I was dating, every time I have these big goals and like, I don't know how I'm going to get to them, but they keep me going every day. I love them.
Yeah.
Everything was like, oh, that seems too hard. And I said, you know what? Like, this is so...
We're just not connected in that area.
No, it's just like people, you say, I have this great idea, and they immediately poke every single hole in it. Like, either stop telling them about your ideas or get new friends. Like, surround yourself with people who will always believe in you. I'm not saying like ridiculous ideas, but like you have to have people.
Oh, I have ridiculous ideas, and somehow they happen because I'm
around
with amazing people that support me. Are you kidding me?
I am absolutely
No, you're not. You're in the right community.
In a good way. I'm like, if people didn't like my ideas, and I have a whole team of like, I actually just looked because I was like, why is this so expensive? Our Google Workspace. I'm like 24 people on it now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm like, I got 24 people to run this by, and they're all going to acknowledge it first, and then they're going to say, like, we'll creatively make it better. Whatever idea I had, like I just had one this morning, and they're like, like we got to revise it. But no one is saying no. No one is saying that's impossible for you. I think we have to remember, like, if the person that we are talking to doesn't have what we want or significantly more, no.
I mean, to be honest, that very thing. So I have one of the unique abilities that, and I would say it's probably one of the secret sauces, is everything I've done insane things that everyone said I couldn't do.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm 35 this month.
Yeah.
And you go, the whole history's there, but it's like everything I set out to do, everyone made fun of me, thought it was an impossibility to talk behind my back.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when I go to literally shut it down and shift gears to do another impossibility thing, they're the ones telling me I'm crazy to let it go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I realized, though, that there was a uniqueness about my just drive of just not giving a rip, I'm going to do it regardless, that a lot of people don't have. They need that extra encouragement to be that it's okay.
Yeah.
This dream may be audacious and crazy and right. But you know what? Even if you miss it by 60%, you're 40% farther than you started.
Oh yeah.
Right. And your dreams change and adjust and adapt and. So keep going.
The big goal, ew. I'm like, I remember looking back at early days of business, and I would set these stupid little goals, and I'm like, why didn't I ever make them? I was like, because I wasn't even excited about them. They were embarrassingly small.
And it keeps getting bigger. Like for me, I'm at a 200-year goal now.
Oh, you were saying something about
200-year goal, man.
I was planning after his dedeath.
I got a 200-year goal because it's just you get so conditioned to. I have 15 years on this, and I go. I have a 40% ROI on my dreams.
Yeah.
Every time, because I started developing this system, and then that's honestly why I'm going back into creating this whole thing, is that I've had 15 years of self-inspired, directive processing, the things that make me unique and successful, and realizing it's the same packaging that everyone else does, just a different flavor.
Yeah.
And so I'm being encouraged to write these things down and share because it's helping people a lot. And that's, for me, that's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Not that we have a ton of money. Money comes and goes, but we have the knowledge and the relationships to keep hitting like Jim Collins and Good to Great, right? I think that dude changed the world for the last 30 years.
No idea what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. Have you heard of BHAG?
No.
So, all right. So Jim Collins is this researcher, and they wrote these amazing books in the 90s. One was called Built to Last, which I'm going through again.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And Good to Great.
Okay, yeah.
And they were analyzing what makes something a generational company that lasts more than 100 years, a great company, and then what makes someone a good leader, a great leader. And they phrase this thing called BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. And
I would like that, yeah.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Yeah. That's why I have the library and stuff upstairs. We need to just stock it with some of these books.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's phenomenal. But yeah, so BHAG. So you're talking about you're in good company with some of the greatest minds in history for business.
The way I see it is your vision is confirmation of possibility. Mm-hmm. So if you see it God didn't give it to you for no reason, it's never going to go anywhere. You're going to be miserable forever if you don't start acting on it. It's those people are I'm just unfulfilled. It's well, you're not doing anything to fulfill the vision. And it's not always business. Sometimes it's family or love or a property on the farm or whatever it is.
Some people aren't willing. They're not willing to put in the work either for.
Oh, they're just so scared. But the benefit, the risk analysis or whatever, it's always
analysis through paralysis, all that stuff that happens.
Go for it.
You need the courage, though. You need the right relationships.
I know. So you have to be around the right people.
You have to be.
So you can come here to Crest and hang out with us.
We can segue.
Talk you into their dreams.
Yeah. So have you listened to these podcasts yet?
Only a couple.
So you probably know the questions that are coming. Then I asked the same 3 questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, I don't want to start with that. I don't want to wrap this thing up. I know I know we have to. We got to circle up. All right.
Yeah,
he's
looking at the.
We need to do it. I want to do another one of these. With you.
Okay.
Because you have such a value to give, I think, to the world from your perspective and just your tenacity. And I want to just encourage you and say thank you for not giving up.
Oh.
Because you're killing it and you're helping women and your journey is just starting in business, and any way we can serve you as a community, and because you're leading leaders, and our goal, and my heartbeat, is to help lead leaders, and to be able to have our vision support you, so that you can go out and help these women all over the world.
Thank you.
Because it's amazing what you're doing, giving freedom to women, and again, to any women that may even be listening to this, if you're in a relationship where your husband or whoever's talking down to you, telling you can't do it, not encouraging you, not, they're getting insecure because you're making more money than them. They probably need some therapy.
Yeah.
Right. There's some significant
coaching
or some coaching. So one and the same half the time, right?
Yeah.
Coaching and therapy are very similar in question asking, and because it's there's some narcissists out there that are very dangerous and very dangerous to human health and to women and all the above. And so just I think there's some pretty cool things that's a personal thing for me, I'm always trying to encourage my daughter and my wife and my sons to dream bigger and beyond even myself.
I think what you said too, if there's someone who is talking down to you in life, whether romantically or friendship, it's also an invitation to them to evolve with you. I think that's sometimes the missing piece too. It's like, I actually want to invite you on this journey with me to like start speaking better about ourselves to each other. You know what I mean? It's also an invitation to evolve.
Don't be afraid to let it, because they're going to naturally exit out of your life. Don't be afraid to let them go. People that are...
Invite them to stay and let them know that you need them to up-level their thoughts and their communication and work with them on that. Maybe give them resources.
Come down to their level too to help take... It's not to get them to our level, it's to get them to the next level.
Yeah, I always think like relationships that grow, you don't have to be on the exact same level. You just have to be growing in the same direction, right? Like you can't have one person committed to growth and the other committed to self-destruction.
It takes selflessness too. Like if I'm growing at such a rapid pace and my family's not there with me, I need to slow my growth down and sacrifice my growth.
Interesting.
Because they're my priority.
Yeah.
Right? Why am I growing? Why? It's not about me at the end of the day.
Right. Well, you have to know what your
you have
values
to evolve.
are.
And those are my values.
Yeah.
I will gladly give up my personal growth no matter if the circumstance happens in my life and something happens that, God forbid, my wife is disabled in some way, or I will give up anything I could to make money and wealth and any of that stuff. Because that is, to me, my highest legacy, right? Yeah.
She probably wouldn't want you to give it up.
It doesn't matter. It's not her choice, right? It wouldn't be her choice. It'd be mine. I would say, no, I'm not going to put you in the care of somebody else.
Yeah.
It's my job.
Yeah, well, then you have to just know
I'll let somebody else run the company. How's that sound? And I'll come, you know what I mean? That's the power of an entrepreneur.
Well, it's choice, yeah.
Right? It's a choice. You go, and that's all it is. It has it does not matter what your core values are. You're going to be successful as long as you stick to them.
Right.
And that's, again, the battle of good and evil. Core values, who your principles, your guiding principles. If you're sticking to them, you're going to be successful. Right? My core values is family is really priority. They're the ones that, when I'm dead and gone, they're the only ones that are going to remember me half the time.
Yeah.
For at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the saddest truth. But
they're going to read the letters.
Yeah, they'll read the letters. But I'm very intentional, I am very comfortable with my mortality. And I make every second try to count.
Yeah, well, life's too precious.
And I want everyone to know that you're valuable, that the decisions you're making are impacting what life looks like on Christmas when you're 60.
Yeah.
And what lives look like for 200 years, that they know your legacy, but they don't know your name.
Yeah.
Right?
I think about life like that too.
Yeah.
I'm like, when I'm scared to make a decision, I'm like, I could die tomorrow. I'm going for it.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's true.
Why did you join Cress?
Well, a friend of a friend told me about it, and I was like, oh, that's that place that I drive by every single day, and I didn't really know what it was. And then I came in with Denise, who's one of my friends, and she also graduated and is a certified coach from IGC. And we were just talking to you and chatting and walking around, and I know the vibes were good.
Mm-hmm.
The community was good. Is good. Yeah.
You're just like,
the coffee was free. Not gonna lie, that made a difference for me.
Yeah, because you'd been in other spaces and things like that.
Yeah, and I've been kind of an office space hopper for the past few years, and there have been pros and cons to all of them for sure. But I mean, it just feels a little more family vibes than sterile, and I'm not really good at not being comfortable in a space. Like, I felt very comfortable here, so.
So you joined because you just felt comfortable. It served a problem.
Oh, what problem did it solve?
Yeah.
I mean, I literally had canceled my last one, so it gave me a workspace for sure. That was the main problem.
Yeah.
And I guess I would say focus and inspiration. It gets a little boring working from home, and I've met some cool people here. Have people to talk to rather than
Let's segue to the next question.
So. Okay.
What have you gotten out of Cress that you were not anticipating to get out of it, but that is just so much better than
this interview?
Really?
Well, yeah, I didn't know we were going to have a podcast interview. I didn't expect it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's dive into. So, what have you gotten out of the community? What have you gotten that you weren't expecting? Has it served you in a way that you were like, man, I was not expecting it to be that impactful or that enjoyable? Or
the lunch we did a couple weeks ago, another thing I wasn't expecting, which I thought was very impactful.
So CLR, you were in the first CLR, the beta.
Yeah, what are we calling it? CLR?
Cress Leadership Rounds.
Okay.
Yeah, CLRs.
CLRs.
I'm good for shorting things up.
Well,
like
I thought it was
acronyms.
leadership lunch, but
It was beta. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so that was very valuable.
Yeah.
And unexpected.
Talk about that. Like, how was that valuable? What was it meaning to you when we did that?
Well, the first thing is, I'm not going to lie. I'm very much used to running everything. I'm often having
I noticed you kind of
to lead the things. I'm never usually, I mean, of course I've gone to bigger like seminars and trainings and I'm in a mastermind that I don't run myself, but in person, I feel like usually I've been literally just a couple weeks ago, got back from a full weekend of like business intensives that I was running. I'm on the whole time. And I'm like, wow, this feels nice to be supported by someone.
Yeah, that's
or
awesome.
by other people. And so that was really great for me. And then I'm not going to lie. It's interesting to hear a man's perspective on some of the things that we're going through business wise, because we are an all female company, for women by women.
Yeah.
And I value women and their, intelligence and their insights, of course. But I was like, wow, it's really interesting to hear how men view our company and our offerings and our products. So,
not even knowing what your company was, just looking at the principle of the question. Because it was actually, Denise was in the hot seat.
Yes.
Which was awesome, because you had like Denise's basically boss next to her, and she's sitting there like talking about what she. You could tell you're like, no, we have that. You're like, I'm fighting back.
I got to train her better.
I just want to listen. I just need to listen.
Yeah.
And so so tell me about that a little bit. So because again, it's like Switzerland. Like we want to value everyone. Everyone has a value and a purpose here and a voice.
Yeah.
And leadership.
One thing I do like about men is, I like a lot of things about men, but
it's okay. We can continue the thought.
I like so I'm around so many women and we sell to only women, and women are very emotional in their financial decisions. Not saying that men are not, but women are very much more emotional decision makers when it comes to money. Yeah. We think about how this thing is going to make us feel. They think about how it's going to make them feel versus like a return on investment
men
or
are
like,
not.
And
it's calculated.
Men sometimes are just like, yes, mathematically this makes sense. And they're like, and I remember we're going through our payment options and payment plans are like, damn, that's it. And I'm like, but for women, they're like, if we are women with children, we're thinking like, okay, this money is going to be taken from my kids, instead of seeing how like, okay, if I put $500 a month into this class, but I can make 1,000, this is a very fast return. Yeah. And so it's interesting, some of the things like that I think are, and when I was doing one-on-one coaching at first, I had a lot of male clients, and they often were like, it was just an easy yes for them, because they're like, yeah, this makes sense. Not how does this feel, but does this make sense?
And so the thing you weren't expecting, so you're getting information and perspectives, right? That the fairly, like, actually really healthy perspective, not chauvinistic, it was like coming around, like solving a problem together, right? So you weren't expecting. So how did that help you guys?
Well, unfortunately, I still hand wrote all the notes from that session.
Did you lose them?
No.
Okay, good.
God, did you know? Listen, if there was a fire, I would get all my notebooks first. But I know I have them, and I was with Denise at a networking event last night, and she's like, "Are you going to send them to me?" I'm like taking pictures of every page, but I looked back and I'm like, you asked how it was helpful. Every single thing that came out of everyone's mouth was helpful. Like I have pages and pages of notes, and like some of it, no, I'm probably not going to implement right now, but it's the different perspective that allowed me to see things a different way. And, there are some things that we will be changing from that conversation. Yeah.
And that was an hour, right?
I think so, yeah.
That was an hour, like almost six strangers that are members coming together, right? Just if you had one word to describe that experience of Crest that you weren't expecting, how would you describe that in one word?
One word is hard. Maybe like innovative.
Innovative.
Yeah.
So it's innovative for you. It's an innovative experience.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's a great thing. I'm always learning. That's why these questions are for me to learn.
Oh, yeah. Well, even the way I was learning from how you facilitated as well. Like, I had never facilitated like that before.
You're done. You're done.
You're done. Slap me with a ruler if I go on a turn. But there was value in learning. There was value in the whole facilitation of the lunch, as well as hearing other people's, experiences and input, and any opportunity I have to get someone else's perspective on a problem that I have not been able to solve myself is highly valuable to me.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is that you are solving the problem. You're just having the community, the bond of asking the right questions that you didn't think of.
Yeah.
Right? And then the answer's coming out of you.
Yeah.
Not out of the people there, because there's no advice, right? And there's no.
Right. And you know, I'm laughing as you say that, because IGC, our like slogan is work for yourself, not by yourself. And it's like, duh, of course that would work for me.
Well, it's all principles and application, right? And that's the coolest thing from your perspective, because you really are like a leading, a leading leader in your industry of coaching specifically for women and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's just an honor to be able to serve you, because you serve so many people, you know? So here's the fun question I love to ask.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
How am I failing absolutely miserable in life right now as a leader of Crest? And how is Crest failing? I mean, how are we just completely butchering it?
Is that what you always ask at that?
Always. How we celebrate failures. In the failures where you learn brutal facts.
I love me for not prepping for this interview.
Oh, no, we don't prep for anything around here.
There you go.
It's one of our failures.
Okay, so how are you failing?
How are we failing? Like, what's just miserably failing? Personally, me as a leader, and then also the organization.
I am cold in here sometimes.
Oh, the opposite of what happens. It's usually too hot in here.
No. I mean, I don't know. That's not an answer. I mean, maybe it's just like more people need to be here. I think it's like more people need to join.
That is a common failure that comes through.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it's good. Everyone,
because
a
I've
lot of people
actually
say
liked everyone that I've met here, and I don't mean to sound that say that in a mean way, but I actually don't like a lot of people that I meet sometimes, and other spaces that I've been in.
That's how we're successful.
I like a lot of right, but what I'm saying is more you're failing because we need more people that I actually like.
Okay. How do we get there? How do we get more people here? More qualified people that fit into the heartbeat and vision of this space. And how would you define the vision of Crest?
Oh, how would I define the vision?
Or you're experiencing it?
I think a very like community driven space. I think it's less about God, I don't want to say it and compare other places.
You can't, just don't use names.
I'm not good at that. I have to rhyme. Should I rhyme?
No, you know what? Say whatever. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Listen,
I don't know. I've never been in a co-work space. I don't even know any of the owners.
Oh, okay.
Well, so I don't know.
This is my fourth one that I have, and I'm not like a hopper. It's just between like COVID and availability, and we had a bigger office downtown for a couple of years before COVID, and then our team became more virtual, and so it's been a little bit different, but. I would say the value here that I like so much is the connectedness. It doesn't feel like people actually know who I am. I just remember being like, oh my God, why does that person know my name? And then I was like, wait, Olivia, like this is a new space, like be open to relationships. Like it's very fostering relationships is obviously a core value. Like I could compare it to other places where it's like who drives the nicest car is the core value, and like they get the better parking spots, and that's like I like literally don't care about things like that. Or like vanity metrics, as we would call them in social media. I feel like it's much more about relationships and collaboration. And I had a meeting yesterday with Annabelle.
Did that work? You guys met up?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Do my taxes. Love him for that.
He's the man.
You should be scared.
Aníbal's the man.
Yes,
yeah.
Aníbal, thank you.
He goes by 3 or 4 different names because his name's impossible to pronounce.
Well, I'm going to have to get a nickname, Taxman. I don't know. But yeah, and I've been able to actually create collaborations with people. And I think literally that's how we met, though, because a friend of mine wants to do an event here. She said, can you go drive by and check out this space because I'm from out of town? Do you know what I mean? So it was all very connected. And I think that's one of the values that I also have. I don't try to grow IGC to a $100 million company this year because I would lose the relationships at this point that I value so much. And I would have to scale much slower for me to maintain that all for one for all.
So it's interesting. So you said more people need to experience this.
Yeah, I think more people need to come
right?
here.
More people need to experience this. And that's kind of where my dance is, because I really believe in the crawl, walk, run model of business.
Okay.
5 minutes? All right. And he's calling us out. So but so it's definitely, we are just actually gearing up to start marketing. We've done zero marketing, by the way.
Just other than like social media posts, you've done no paid ads.
No paid ads,
okay.
no paid, just focusing on word of mouth and practicing and mastering our culture, to try to scale the culture and really trying to find high value impact. We're up to 69 members though, or almost 70 members.
Yeah.
Organically, which is phenomenal. And there's been a lot of impact, in that. And just, I've been having the time of my life seeing people just really hit that next level, hit that optimum performance. And you hit right on the head of one of our core values that is social capital is the most valuable capital is people. So literally within our core, so it's like our core values, it's this thing I'm actually going to start posting about it all over the place. I always say our core values are precious, and it's PRESH, presh.
Okay.
So it's people are first.
Okay.
Reflection is reflective growth. Being efficiently unified.
Okay.
Right? PRE, and then S is social.
Okay.
We're social and social capital. Relationships are the greatest currency. And humility, being humble, and being humbly leveraged, asking for help.
Yeah.
So H is also for help.
I like that.
And that's the whole heartbeat of what makes you thriving. And our brand promise is a space to thrive, connect, and dream.
Yeah.
And that's what fuels us. This is a promise that you will thrive, you will connect, and you will dream here. And hopefully on every aspect of your health. You know what I mean? And so I think that may be the differentiator, because I didn't set out to create a space. The space is free. It's ancillary. It's like a canvas and you're the brush. You paint how the space is used.
Yeah.
It's a drive for community. And that's why people have told me that those round table things, those CLRs now, we've only done 2.
Okay.
And I've been told that it's the most valuable thing we've ever offered.
When's the next one?
Next week. We're going to do them every week rolling out.
Okay, that's what I thought. Mm-hmm. Okay.
We have a 2-week hiatus.
You just include it in the membership. That'd be easier for me.
What do you mean?
Like include the lunch ticket in the membership.
We can do that. That's a great suggestion. We're adding on these things all the time. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. We are going to think about doing that.
Yeah, because I'm like, we'll forget to like buy the ticket in.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. I'll make that suggestion. So we're trying to wrapping up failures. Any way that we're failing, I know people need to get here more. We're only allowing 10 members a month to sign up, by the way.
Okay.
So that's kind of a thing, because we want to make sure the culture scales. But how do we get there? How do we get more people to know about us?
Well, I think you go back to your values and you look at, maybe incentivizing the current members to bring a friend, maybe actually looking in the community groups that you're already in, or that are, I even think like around this neighborhood, like I live in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And, starting with those things in mind, community, friends, and then I know you had a bunch of other.
No, it's people first. Yeah. People, reflective growth, efficiently unified. There's a lot of those things that we, as a company.
Yeah, and I think when I say 2 more people, I think more women would be nice. I do think that it's more male dominated. I could be wrong, but I would be down to collaborate on an event for women. I know you also know Gina with Babe Crafted.
Yeah,
I was at her event last night.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we'd love to have. Again, we just want to be a space for people to connect and engage and. Yeah. I'm not a woman, so I don't know how women think. If I knew that, I'd be a gazillionaire, right? I could sell a book on that.
We don't even know how we think.
Exactly.
Okay? That's the beauty of the feminine energy. Yeah. It's wild. It's feminine.
It is wild. It's wild.
Absolutely batshit.
But I want to be, just a man that supports women.
Yeah.
And their values and who they are.
When your wife is here more, I should meet up with her. We should talk about something.
Hopefully every morning she's here. Yeah. And we gave her the CLRs. Like, it's her baby. Like, you go connect with people individually, know. So she's just shot a video on it. You're going to see her face around a lot more.
Oh, good. I can't wait.
Yeah. That should wrap up, though. This is a fun podcast. We need to do, again, 2 more minutes. How can people get in touch with you? Your socials, if someone wants to start a coaching company, a woman wants to have that empowerment and be able to coach other women, how do they do that?
So on Instagram, I'm the Liv Chapman.
The Liv Chapman.
All right. Then, of course, our company is Inner Glow Circle, and those are the same on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I can send you whichever links you want. But I think if you're serious about finding your purpose, living it, and getting paid, just DM me on Instagram and I'll get you connected to the right person. And we have, our ICF accredited coach training, these, over 225 hours if you want to go big or go home. And then we also do have some smaller digital courses if people are like, I'm not really sure, but I want to get a feel for this. So one of the things I will mention before we go, we also have a nonprofit. We have a scholarship. So if you're a single mom or you're very financially strapped, we have done over $300,000 in scholarships
That's
for
awesome.
moms, women of color, veterans, and military spouses. And if there's a will, there's a way. We find a way to make it happen.
That's huge.
So,
Well, thank you for that. That's awesome. We'll make sure we push that out.
Cool.
Well, I think the video's probably done, but you're still hearing this. We have a 1 minute left. You guys are awesome. Again, my name is Jeremy Vanderloop. I'm the founder and CEO of Crest Community. I have my guest, Olivia Chapman. Go check her out on all the socials or website. If you're a woman and you want some freedom, it's yours. Go get it right now.
Yeah.
She's your tact right there. Again, check us out. Come see us if you're in Tampa. Join online. We appreciate you all.